So, with the war brewing in Middle East and West Asia, there is an LPG crisis or a gas crisis, which is coming in India as well. The government has invoked ESMA in certain situations, but what is the way forward for India and the legalities around it?
The LPG crisis is largely because we require actually one tanker per day, which has to cross through the Strait of Hormuz to meet our requirement. And because of the uncertainty there now, we could get two tankers recently out. I believe there are 6 which are held up there, and hopefully in a day or two they will also be cleared for coming. I believe our Navy is ready to escort our tankers, but government is still trying to work out a political solution where Iran agrees to permit our tankers to go out, because Iran is actually wanting to only harm those countries which has given US a base. And fortunately, we have not given US any base. So that is one thing which is going very much in our favor. And in that sense, our non-aligned policy is going to help us in the long run. But the very sad part of this whole war is that apart from the fact that the US may be spending a lot of money in this war, the real affected parts of the world are basically Asia, this Middle East and Asia. And we are the ones who are actually requiring our supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. In the global oil scenario, about only 20% goes through the Strait of Hormuz, 80% doesn't go through the Strait of Hormuz. So accordingly, only people who are being fed through this Strait of Hormuz are the ones which are affected, which is India, China. Russia is of course going to gain because Russia is an oil exporter itself. And with this uncertainty, it is going to be actually having the real big advantage in its favor. So Russia is of course watching with smiles on its face and only taking full benefit out of this. In the long run, I feel we'll have to cut down our dependence on LPG, and there are other fuels which can substitute LPG in our system, because bringing LPG today is more because we don't have piped gas everywhere, and LPG has to be supplied to a large number of establishments. But the moment we switch to other fuels, I think in the long run, our dependence will come down. And I think that also process is on. And very soon, maybe in a couple of months, we will have lesser dependence on LPG, and we will be more, insulated with this kind of situation that has arisen in this part of the world. But I think so far we have done well. So far, we are not facing that kind of a crisis which many other countries are facing, and that's something which is quite creditable. That means our reserves were good enough to hold on for these 2 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks that has happened in this war. And maybe if the war ends in a couple of weeks, things will automatically normalize. But even if it doesn't end, and if we are able to get a big breakthrough of our ships at least being allowed to pass, this problem, according to me, should be over. So there is nothing to panic as far as India is concerned. I think the more difficult situation arises when there is a panic situation. If you recall, in the COVID times, people were accumulating and taking up things which were not required by them and creating a bigger crisis, which crisis was not otherwise there. So if there is no panic, I think it will be a great thing for the country. And I, through this video, say that there is nothing to panic as far as we are concerned on the LPG issue.